Wow.
Yeah.
It gives me a terrible feeling in my stomach seeing this.
Well, you just look at it and you go, how could this be started by somebody burning a couch outside the wall? Like,
Yeah.
No way.
Like the whole thing that's always bothered me is that the fire department is literally like 2 minutes away.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, literally. You could probably, a good stone thrower could throw a rock to hit the fire station. Like,
yes.
Were they
That got me.
Were they asleep? Like, what happened?
Yeah. Look at this. Fully engulfed.
Well, I have a feeling that the article that Mary Campbell wrote here actually will enlighten us a little bit about why the heck it seems to me it was planned to be demolished anyways before this fire ever happened. I think we all know that, but
but we had basically I had been involved in trying to stop that from happening, and there was a pretty good chance that it was going to be stalled, the whole demolishing of the building, right?
You were building quite a lot of momentum, Rod. You were getting quite successful with your campaign for saving it. I agree. So, well, welcome to the show this morning, guys, to Serious Sundays. It's Janet, Rod, South Bar Guy, and Marie. So we're continuing with our series of what happened with the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club here in Sydney and the path that it leads to the lakes. So you're wondering, how does one place lead to the other? Don't worry. We've got all the answers for you. It can't be done in a quick little show. It has to be done slowly so we can have you understand all the details that went into the planning and where the money went. Okay, so this is a real eye-opener, and if you stay with us to get all your blanks filled in, you're going to be real angry like we are. So guys, let's bring on the guys, our gals, our crew here, Rod and Marie. So good morning.
Hey everybody.
Oh, good morning, Shelly. Good morning, Snowy. Hi, Snowy.
I think Rod's bread's done or something.
Is your bread done, Rod?
Yeah, bread. We got to do bread.
Wicked.
Now look at him. He's making us women look pretty darn inadequate here. He's got hot, fresh buns on again, just like last week. I don't know what our problem is.
For Bunny.
We got to get on the ball here.
Okay,
So,
who's here today?
To
Wow, we got people watching. Yeah, so the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club. What do y'all think of it?
So who knows anything about what's going on with the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club or what went on with the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club? Does anybody have any idea of what took place there and why we're so concerned about the yacht club or the former Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club? Does anybody know? We're not pulling out of the sky straws here, guys. I promise.
Yeah.
No. Well, the thing about Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club, if you want a history on it, I happen to have a book. Right here. It's Portside, an early history of the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club. It's written by Neil E. Libby, and some really great photos, etc. of it. The thing about it is this was a really important historic building, like that Cape Breton lost mysteriously.
Or was it mysteriously, Rod?
No, I don't think so at all.
Plan seriously. Well,
plan seriously. That's a new Cape Breton word. Plan seriously.
Yeah, plan seriously.
It happens quite often around here. I don't know.
Oh, lightning by.
I like to make up words. I coin phrase things all the time. We are flivers too. In case you didn't know, we're on the fly livers. So you're a fliver too, Rod. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this morning, guys, Rod, if you want to just tell them how you were involved, what you did to try and save the yacht club in like 5 minutes or less, and then we're going to get into Marie reading the article here and to have talking points. So go ahead, Rod.
Okay. Basically, what I saw happening is that I've always been involved in history and historic buildings since I was a kid, right? I really believe that if if we don't learn about our history, we're bound to keep repeating it. You know that.
It's true.
And what I saw in Sydney is that we kept tearing down our historical monuments so that our people wouldn't actually know where they came from. Well, it started with Moxham Castle, and then the Vogue Theater downtown.
Oh
they
yeah.
tore down the Vogue, and the Isle Royal Hotel disappeared out of nowhere, and I saw that they were basically the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club was moving towards the same thing. Is that they were going to tear down this historic building, and I said to myself, man, that just shouldn't happen, because people without a base, or a building without a base, it's going to fall down, right? And I believe if we keep tearing down our monuments here in Cape Breton, our people won't have any base to grow from, and that's why I got involved in trying to save it. And I started a Facebook page that got a lot of interest and brought a lot of media attention to us.
I believe
Featured on
1,600 followers you had at one point.
yeah,
It says.
1,600 followers, and more importantly, is that it attracted the attention of the media from not only here in Cape Breton but all across Canada.
Yes.
And basically, we were stopping the demolition.
Yeah.
It had, but mysteriously, while I was out working out west, I should add that the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club burned down.
Just went up in smoke.
Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So with that being said, we're going to get into our plan story, which is a planned mystery. Okay, it's a mystery for the people who don't know about it, but it was a planned story for the people who did. All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of that. Marie's going to bring us to the article, and we're going to have stopping points. All right, Marie, whenever you're ready.
Oh,
yep. So this was written June 12th, 2019 by Mary Campbell.
Hold
She's
on.
been very invested in everything Cape Breton.
Yes, she is.
Best.
So on May 13th, 2016, I submitted an Access of Information and Privacy, ATIP, that's an abbreviation, request to ACOA asking for information pertaining to the 2012 sale of the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club, RCBYC. Just for future reference, that's probably what I'll be. That's the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club, and adjacent lands to Enterprise Cape Breton Corporation, ECBC.
Ooh,
right?
Yeah.
The request was transferred to Public Services and Procurement Canada, which had a greater interest in the record sought. 3 years later, almost to the day, I received the information I'd requested, which is why this week, rather than writing about the library that has been proposed for the Sydney waterfront, I'm writing about a 113-year-old building that used to be on the Sydney waterfront. So at this time, right, in 2019, they were on about this library, right, way back then. So she wanted to make sure that we all remember about this yacht club. All right. So weirdly, the arrival of the ATIP information coincided with the 6th anniversary of the fire that destroyed the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club on May 3rd, 2013. As the Canadian press reported at the time, the deputy fire chief for the Cape Breton Regional Municipality says firefighters responded to the blaze at 2 p.m. Friday, and when they arrived, the building was engulfed in flames. Richard Bully says the mostly wooden structure burned quickly due to its age and construction. The building had recently been purchased by Enterprise Cape Breton Corporation, ECBC, and by late afternoon, the ECBC spokesperson, D.A. Landry, was telling the Chronicle Herald, quote, "As of the end of the day, the building is down and the rubble is being removed. We anticipate that it will be tidied up by tomorrow."
Hold it. Stop.
Which it was. Documented by CBRM resident on Facebook.
Stop the presses. Okay. Now, the whole thing about this is you got to keep in mind that they went and they tore down the building and removed the rubble before they had a chance to investigate the fire.
When does that happen? When does that take place, Rod? Have you ever seen in your lifetime a fire that took place and that had no investigation on a historical building, no less? Something downtown? Is this not weird?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. We're ahead.
I find that very upsetting, like when I think about it, because they did arrest somebody, as we know, right?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
so here we go.
Okay, good.
Cape Breton Regional Police issued this press release on May 4th, 2013. Police originally responded to assist Cape Breton Regional Fire Services with traffic control surrounding the structure fire on the Esplanade at approximately 1:40 p.m. on May 3rd. The Forensic Ident Unit and arson investigator were later called to assist the fire marshal's office with an investigation into the cause of the fire. Witness information led police to arrest a male suspect just before midnight, and as a result of further investigation, police charged Derek Joseph Harris with arson and a breach of probation. Sydney Fire Services contained the large fire in an area that was barricaded with the assistance of CBRM Public Works. Police and fire services also received assistance from Nova Scotia Power and EHS, while several other fire services remained on standby. No one was injured as a result of this fire. There are, it turns out, a couple of problems with this account of events. First, according to an email I received on Monday from Assistant Fire Marshal Doug McKenzie. This is the email she received. The Office of the Fire Marshal was not requested to conduct an investigation into that fire, so there is not a report on this matter. I would recommend that you contact the CBRM Fire Service for any documentation, as they looked after this. For the record, I contacted the CBRM Fire Service and was told it sends its fire reports to the Fire Marshal and that I will have to submit a FOIPOP request to access the report on the RCBYC fire. But there's a bigger problem, having to do with circumstances under which the male suspect, 34-year-old Derek Joseph Harris, was arrested. When his case came to trial a year later, in May 2014, Provincial Court Judge Brian Williston ruled that the statement he had given police confessing to the crime was the result of an inducement and therefore not given freely or voluntarily.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
So the police actually
coerced him.
Coerced him. Yeah, that's the word.
Well, they're going to explain what happened here, right?
Yeah.
I believe it's in the next article, but nonetheless, according to the Cape Breton Post, in his decision, Williston referred to Constable AJ McIsaac's testimony in which he admitted to telling Harris police had eyewitnesses who saw him leave the scene, which was not true. McIsaac said it was a common technique used by police. Oh, it was in this article. McIsaac said it was a common technique used by police in a bid to get an accused to open up. Constable McIsaac, further in his cross-examination by defense counsel, testified that other than his own suspicions, he did not have any evidence to suggest the accused was responsible for the fire at the yacht club, said Williston. Which means the police also lied to the public in the initial press release, which stated unequivocally, sorry, that's a hard one on me, that witness information had led to Harris's arrest. What do you guys think of that?
I think it's crazy.
Well, I think it's a par for the course around here. Like,
it's awful to me because like it upsets me to think that this fella was apparently of diminished capacity to a point, right? Like they confused and tricked this man into saying, yes, okay, I was there, I was on the scene or whatever. Like, why would they do this?
Because he was the fall guy. They needed a fall guy, and he was the perfect fall guy until the judge decided he wasn't. The judge put in on the plan. So
well, it came out in court, right? That this was something that. So the Post account of Harris' trial continues. Williston concluded that because Harris has a diminished mental capacity, the comments made to him by investigator Constable AJ McIsaac during an early morning 1-hour interrogation could be construed by Harris as offering a promise that he would not be charged if he admitted to the crime.
Listen to that.
It just disgusts me. The judge said, while the conduct of McIsaac was not oppressive in terms of an individual with an average developmental state, it was oppressive for Harris, who has a diminished mental capacity. So, like, I hate that so much. Crown prosecutor Shane Russell told the court that without the statement, the Crown could not prove its case, which resulted in the judge issuing an acquittal for Harris. That was the end of any attempt to get to the bottom of the RCBYC fire. When I contacted the CBRPS, Recently, to ask about the status of the case, I received an email from the Staff Sergeant, Bill Turner, who said, I have been asked to provide the results of the investigation into the fire at the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club by Staff Wilson. First, this is a public record that police charged Derek Harris with starting the fire, arson, which resulted in the destruction of the yacht club. Mr. Harris did tell police he started the fire in an interview. However, prior to the beginning of the trial, the cautioned interview was challenged by his lawyer. A voir dire was held in front of Provincial Court Judge, the Honorable Brian Williston, and it was determined that the statement would not be allowed into evidence as Mr. Harris has a diminished mental capacity and did not fully understand the process which was taking place. The Crown, not being able to rely on the interview, decided not to proceed through trial. So to be absolutely clear, I asked Turner if that was the end of the investigation, to which he replied, yes, it was. That's the end of it. That's the end of the investigation, because
and a 113-year-old historical building investigation with something that obviously was not, it didn't get investigated. They didn't even take the time to question the witnesses. Now, I'm looking here on my iPad because I've got a comment from a witness on Facebook who said that, let me just find it here. It's better just to show it to you and go from there. I sent it to you as well, Marie.
Yeah.
Let me see. Where is that comment at? All right. So on Diana McKinnon Furlong's post, we have here, I don't know if you can see it.
I can't believe it.
Can't see it?
No, just
nonetheless, yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Any better?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Do you see that comment? You want to read that, Marie?
Well, I can't read it from your screen, actually. No.
All right.
It's like far too small for me.
All right.
I'm on a phone.
So I got between my Apple and my Windows here, so I got to go between. Okay, so it says Debbie Keating. Actually, CBRM used the guy to start the fire while a group of distinguished people watched it burn from upstairs in Governors. Now, we're trying to reach Debbie, and we want to find out if she knows any of these distinguished men, or if there's any pictures of these distinguished gentlemen, which we're going to get to later in more shows. So anyhow, let's get back to this. Watched it burn from upstairs in Governors, which was being renovated at the time. So why would there be a group of distinguished men inside of a renovated building at Governors? We'll get to that too. Shameful that this piece of history was deliberately destroyed in an act of arson and approved by our own administration, which we're going to get to, are still remaining at City Hall and were privy to it all and said nothing. And then she says, I'm certain the police and the court officials knew the guy was innocent, which it seems like in the article. And actually, as I watched it burn, she's an actual eyewitness, and noted the time lapse before any action. I wondered if the fire services were also given their instructions. So many people involved and no one spoke out. All right, that's what I had to say.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I'm really not surprised. I mean, we know that it was a planned demolition anyway. The fact that, though, they tried to pin this on somebody as an arson is disgusting.
Right?
Well, isn't that the way around here? Let's just think about it. If they're going to pin it on somebody, they're going to pin it on somebody with diminished mental intelligence.
Wow. So let's pick on not only are we basically taking millions and millions of non-repayable money that was for economic development for the poorest of people in Cape Breton, but the people who were heading these funds at RCBYC and ACOA thought that it was better to give $4 million plus of non-repayable money to these private business owners that are rich in the billions, super millions here in Cape Breton, to give them a non-repayable loan. And this poor yacht club that reached out for a loan for renovations and then to get it, assessed to have it rebuilt, they were refused and they were going to pay the money back. But we decided not to give them a loan to pay it back for a historical building, but we decided to tear it down and give millions away to these people for something else. All right.
Yeah, but wait, there was I know we're going to get into this in a later segments, whatever.
Yeah.
But everybody around here has to realize that nothing here in Cape Breton, I guess, happens without a plan. You know, it seems helter skelter, but all the development, etc., always has a plan behind it. And what you have to look at is who is actually in control of the steering wheel.
Right.
And that's where we want to get to, right? So you have to ask yourself, when you look at a thing like the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club, you have to ask yourself, who benefits by that, by the yacht club burning down? That's the question you always have to ask yourself.
It's true.
Yes.
You know, okay, what's going to come from the yacht club burning down? What is the development that is actually going to happen? And that's where we're going to get to, right? So, Marie, are you going to do some reading there? I like your reading, by the way.
Yeah, great.
Oh, well, I try, but you know what? I should have read it first myself before. Nonetheless, here we go.
You're a flyer. You don't do that.
I read it myself in my head, but I didn't read it out loud, so my pauses are a little off kilter. But I'll get better, guys. Give me a minute.
You look very journalistic this morning.
Well, I'm trying very hard to just see the print, so whatever I might look like, regardless, at least I can see and read. Without these, yeah, I'm messed. All right, so the CBCL study. I am in the process of tracking down the relevant police and fire department reports. This is Mary Campbell speaking, right?
Yeah.
About which I will write in the future. But in this article, I am going to look at the controversial event that preceded the fire. The sale of the RCBYC facility to ECBC, thanks to the information I received as a result of the ATIP to ACOA. It's a lot of little, okay, acronyms. And that's the thing, you know, I almost have to, I should be actually reading it right out for you guys as I'm doing it so people aren't confused.
Right.
But
ACOA is, for people that don't know what the acronym means, is Atlantic Canadian Opportunities Agency.
Was it not Atlantic Coastal Opportunities Agency?
No, Atlantic Canadian Opportunities Agency, because it's a federal corporation, crown corporation, that helps in aiding businesses and development in Atlantic Canada.
That's right. Okay. Thanks,
depending on the business, apparently, though, right?
Oh, that's another story.
Okay, keep going, Marie.
Okay. I see this as a cautionary tale about what happens when historic buildings fall into the wrong hands. Writing against the backdrop of New Dawn's renovation of the old Holy Angels Convent makes the lesson hit home all the harder, says Mary.
Yeah.
My reading of the correspondence I received is that no one discussing the fate of the clubhouse, neither the RCBYC board nor ECBC, made the case for its historic value. Instead, it was viewed as just another part of the infrastructure supporting recreational marina traffic within the Brador Lakes and Sydney Harbour, which would be kind of like viewing and valuing the Fortress of Louisbourg purely as part of Canada's military defense system.
Dear God.
Right?
Yeah.
How could you compare the two like that, Rod? To me, that's like comparing, I don't know, a newborn baby to a Walmart store. It don't make sense. What do you mean? That don't make sense. Please insert the card. Somebody make this make sense to me. How'd that make sense?
Well, it's the way they make sense of things for themselves, right?
Well, they had to. It's, you know, they can come at you with the whole idea that, you know, like it's all about dollars and cents. But you know, the people that are in ACOA or in ECBC, which doesn't exist anymore, that was Enterprise Cape Breton Corporation.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dissolved into ACOA, so one became the other.
No, ECBC was always
its own entity.
always a part of ACOA.
Yes, so, but once that John Lynn fella was found to be shady in ECBC and the federal government shut ECBC down, everybody from ECBC, Rod, went under the umbrella of ACBC, except
they're still there.
Yeah, they just shuffled them.
One became the other. I don't care how anybody slices that pie. It's one. It's the same pie, different director at the helm. Everybody else.
You're exactly right. Like a lot of people that came, and this to all the coal miners' sons and daughters out there, a lot of people that were actually part of Devco moved directly into ECBC. And then when ECBC folded, and there was a shuffling of the deck at ECBC when it folded, guess where they went? The people from Devco, ECBC, etc., went to the CBRM administration bureaucracy. Right?
Exactly. So that's the exact type of path that we want to show people, is exactly where these people came from, where they've gone, what they've done through the organizations they were involved with, how it helped or devastated the people of Cape Breton, and where they are now, and how they are still devastating the actual people of Cape Breton. So that's what we're here showing, the path of destruction of why we are in a stranglehold of poverty, with the biggest numbers of child poverty in all of Canada, the biggest numbers of our hospitals, a death trap. We're going to show all these people are involved in all these boards of all these things that lead to the absolute destruction of Cape Breton, and how it never happened overnight, but how this little pandemic, we'll call it for Cape Breton, because it is a little pandemic, plansteria, whatever you want to call it, mystery. But anyway, we're going to lead to all the background of all this. We're not just blowing smoke out of our ass, and I know I'm good at it, but we actually have facts, which I love, and articles, which I love more. So keep going with this article.
Okay. So the reason for the sale was in part because the RCBYC was in debt, a fact the directors blamed on declining membership, rising operating costs, and facilities in need of a facelift. In 2011, to address this latter problem, the RCBYC board commissioned CBCL, the engineering firm, to conduct a preliminary structural assessment of the clubhouse, on the basis of which they requested financial assistance from ECBC for renovations. Donald Rowe of the Port of Sydney Corporation received the report on behalf of the RCBYC on 9th of May, 2011. I think there's a typo in the CBCL report. It says they were engaged to undertake the work on 21st of March 2001, which would mean it took them over a decade to complete it, which seems unlikely. CBCL's Lorne Martin wrote Rowe that the assessment was made on the basis of limited and random access to the structural elements of the clubhouse and could not be considered all-inclusive. He then continued, however, in consideration of the structural restoration requirements noted, and based on our experience, it is conceivable that the cost of a renovated facility would be in the order of 1.5 to 2 times the cost of a new building. Considering current new building unit costs of $200 to $250 per square foot, restoration renovation costs may be in the order of $350 to $500 per square foot. With an approximate floor area of 7,200 square feet, total restoration renovation costs would likely be in excess of $2.5 million, excluding building additions.
All right. So I want you to remember this number that ECBC said that the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club was not worth $2.5 million, whether they helped them to renovate it or to build it from the bottom up. So that's all I want to do. Remember that number, $2.5 million. ECBC refused. Okay, keep going.
Also, I'd like to put. Hey, hold on, just 1 second, Marie. I don't mean to break in, but also I'd like to point out that like these companies that do assessments that are contracted by ECBC or a COA or whatever.
Right.
Sometimes the report that they
are favorable.
Bring about basically says what the company that is contracting them to do wants them to say.
That's right.
What they're being paid for, essentially.
It's biased.
There you go.
Extremely biased. It is not independent, and it should have been. It should have been done by an independent company that had nothing to gain, nothing to lose. This deal, and it certainly was not the case.
Yeah, I got information on that too.
Excellent. I knew you would, Rod. Excellent so far, guy. All right, Marie.
Well, Mary Campbell also thought that was a little ridiculous. So I'm struck by how speculative this is. It is conceivable that the cost would be 1.5 to 2 times the cost of a new building. Like, where did they come up with this, right? Like, obviously, like you said, biased reporting. Restoration, renovation costs may be in the order of $350 per square foot, but could be 43% higher at $500 per square foot. Total cost would likely be in excess of 2.5 million. Although if the restoration renovation costs actually came in at 500 per square foot, the cost related to a 7,200 square foot building would actually be 3.6 million, which is decidedly in excess of 2.5 million.
So the costs keep going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bizarre, right? It's like they just keep saying whatever they want.
No,
basically.
It's more validation that we can't do anything with this building, so you should just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Basically, they just try to make the argument stronger each time,
Yeah.
right? Like we don't have any need for this building. It's going to cost us too much money.
Yeah. So that's really when I was involved with the Stones Church Restoration Society, it was funny that that the same company, CBCL, had been contracted by the Diocese of Antigonish to do a study on the viability of the Stone Church to be repaired, right? And they basically gave us this enormous amount. And the whole thing about this, and sorry to get us sidetracked, but this gives you a little bit
it's
of
important to know this.
I don't really remember the exact cost, but for 2 steel doors, I think the cost was up around $10,000 for 2 steel doors.
Dear God.
What kind of steel are they using? Titanium steel with gold encrusted?
Oh, and get this.
Like a regular inside door.
A regular inside door for the Stone Church was $100 each. You know, and this is why I give this example is that if you inflate the cost so much that it seems like, oh, we can never do this,
Right.
then obviously, what are you going to say? Well, might as well get rid of it.
Scrap the whole thing. Yeah, it's not feasible.
So sorry.
They say it's unaffordable. And then they go and make a shiny new building that will not last 50 years.
Shiny new building.
And made like crap. I don't mind saying too,
because that's what we need around here. Shiny new things. And then that has really helped our economy with all this shiny new development that has been done by certain developers. Has it?
Yeah.
If only our children could eat shiny new steel, we'd be set for life.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, if they could eat all of those brand new buildings that are being put up and stuff, that would be lovely, but they can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
And it's not a whole lot of employment ever, it seems to me, for the things they're deciding on. The projects they decide on are never a lot of jobs involved.
It's particular. It's basically the type of employment that it involves is a very small group of people, and they already know who's going to be involved in getting.
Yes, they've already got them planned out. They already know who they're hiring. There's no bidding for anything anymore.
Go ahead, keep reading.
So, in its defense, CBCL did at least touch on the issue of historical value, saying, understandably, the RCBYC facility has historic significance, and as such, the cost of the planned restoration may take second priority to preservation of the legacy. In such a case, we are of the opinion that the facility is restorable, but at significant expense. Overall, though, this doesn't read like a report on which a decision to save or demolish a heritage building should have been made. And yet it was. ECBC's Gerard Shaw would write in 2012. The RCBYC had requested funding from ECBC to assist them in rebuilding, renovating the existing building. An engineering study identified that this building could not be renovated and made structurally sound without investing $350 to $500 per square foot. ECBC could not justify this expenditure on this property. Alternatively, ECBC offered to purchase the property, which would become part of the Sydney Harbour revitalization. Keeps going. ECBC will then enter.
Go ahead, Rod.
Okay. First point there, Marie. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
Gerard Shaw. Do you know where Gerard Shaw ended up?
Where?
No.
CBRM. He's in the municipality now. He works for the municipality. He was brought in during Cecil Clark's time there.
Well, I'm not surprised.
He was a handpicked Gerard Shaw, handpicked Cecil supporter. Yeah.
So there's one person we got going on here.
Okay.
There you go. All right, keep going. Yeah.
All right, what do we got here? All right. Alternatively, ECBC offered to purchase the property, which would become part of the Sydney Harbour revitalization. ECBC will then enter into a long-term lease with the RCBYC to operate the marina.
Okay, do you have a point? Rod, do you want to bring up something?
No, it's just
Okay.
It's laughable to me. When I read it the first time, I was going, "What the?" Okay, this option was seen as the best approach for the ongoing operation and sustainability of the marina in Sydney Harbour. An offer of $280,000 was accepted. They sold that for $280,000.
Yeah, and like the whole thing about it is that if you, I think sometimes the people that are, running ECBC or the people that I think sometimes the people that think they're in charge. Now I said think they're in charge, believe that the common people of Cape Breton are stupid.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
No, here's how they feel. We are based on our bank accounts, Rod. All right, and based on what they feel we're worth as our bank accounts hold, because the only value rich people see in other people are finances. Okay, and if you don't have good finances, you don't have value. It doesn't matter how much education, how much whatever you have. If you don't have assets or finances, you are an invaluable person to them. I know this.
Now, the thing about Marie just said is, Marie, what was the number there? Was that 280,000?
280,000. They accepted that offer.
And how much did they say that the renovations and cost and etc. was going to be? 3.5.
Excess of 2.5 million in one report, and CBCL said excess of 3.6 million.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want people to keep an idea of the way the dominoes are falling here. So they validate that the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club can't be fixed. All right. So they said it's going to cost you 300,000, right? So ECBC goes and buys it for 280,000 next. So what happens next? Let's do your thing, Marie.
Well, the next is scope. But this I find, right, this is right in here. That CBCL report is the first document in the batch I received from ACOA. And as noted, it was accompanied by a letter dated 9th of May, 2011. There's a gap in the paper trail after that, and then things pick up again on 5th of June, 2012. When the manager of the RCBYC, whose name has been redacted from the documents, emailed Tom Plumridge, ECBC Director, General of Community Economic Development, to say, "Hi, Tom. Daryl Cormier will be our new Commodore. He was speaking to Lori Galloway yesterday, and she suggested we contact you to find out where we are with our application for funding. Is it possible to set up a meeting with you and our flag officers in the next week or so?" Plumridge replied in an email he also sent to Galloway and ECBC's Gerard Shaw.
Gerard Shaw, who used to work for Devco.
Right. Okay. We received a copy of the study that was done last year, but we do not have an application from you. The remodeling of the old facility is pretty much out of the question for a number of factors that you already know. And the total replacement of the facility comes with a price tag that is very much out of ECBC's scope. Our contributions are always measured in terms of the economic benefit that is returned by the project. ECBC is presently looking at the possibility of a waterfront development project that could house the yacht club. It is undergoing conceptual design and sustainability review at this time. Gerard Shaw, DG of our property unit, and Gerard Shaw, DG of our property unit, and I will arrange to meet with you and members of your board.
DG is Director General. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Another thing I want people to remember is what was that, Marie, about a prospective water project? What was it? Okay. What was the exact quote that they used there anyway? The one about the water, the project.
Okay. Presently looking at the possibility of waterfront development project that could house the yacht club.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this is the first time that we actually get from ECBC a note about the waterfront development. I want people to always keep that in mind. So that's a bit of the paper trail, a really important
June
part
5th.
of the paper trail.
June 5th, 2012.
Keep
Right?
going,
That's
Rod.
when that first started the discussion of that. So his putting study in quotation marks. Oh, I forgot to mention that. That was in quotation when he said study. Should have told you that. His putting study in quotation marks seems to suggest Plumridge doubts the value of the CBCL report, which is funny because, as noted earlier, it became the basis for the decision not to renovate the RCBYC. Also, what is it with the Cape Bretonners and their funding applications? Did the RCBYC actually forget to submit an application? Is Plumridge covering up for losing it? Seriously, what gives?
Yeah.
And finally, can I just express my utter amazement that an agency contemplating a waterfront development project in Sydney could fail to see the value of RCBYC as part of that development?
Right.
Yeah.
The only explanation I can offer is that they could not actually see the clubhouse because their gaze was fixed on a far distant shore, that of Benyon.
And
Here we go. Here we go.
Here.
Here we go.
So,
All right.
And now we come to the other part of the reason for the RCBYC sale. You see, even as Plumridge was turning down the opportunity to save an iconic 113-year-old Sydney building, ECBC had already approved an outlandish amount of funding for what would turn out to be a modern marina of no architectural interest that will probably no longer exist in 100 years in Benyon. According to the agency's own records, ECBC had given Benyon Marina Limited a non-repayable contribution of $135,000 for preliminary work and preparation of a business plan for a proposed marina on 17th of September 2010.
Stop. So you're telling me to conduct a study, to not do anything at all except send some flunky out that was one of their buddies to conduct a study and pay them $135,000 to evaluate if this could take place. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well,
for preliminary work and preparation of a business plan for proposed marina.
Wait, go ahead, Rod.
Oh, awesome. Sorry, Marie. Are you
No, I was just repeating what I'd written. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So also not only that, but you gotta it was all a setup.
Yes.
Okay. It was all a setup. So what you got going on here is that ECBC and John Lynn, who was head of ECBC at the time, who lived in Benyon, they wanted a yacht club out there, people. They wanted their own little yacht club. So
for what? Their yachts?
So
for real yachts?
Oh yeah. They wanted their own little yacht club out there in Benyon, and they didn't want to be down with the dregs in the middle of Sydney and seeing
got no business being around there.
Yeah. So we'll listen. We'll just give them how much was that, Marie? How much money did they give them?
$135,000
for a study,
and that wasn't repayable.
Non-repayable contribution.
It's a contribution. Here's
I love that. What is this?
$135,000. So you can build us a yacht club out there. And the hell with this historic building in downtown Sydney, because we got plans for that space too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So do you see the setup that's going on here?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's plain as day to anybody who's looked at this.
Does the audience see the setup that's going on here? Hi, Gordon. How you doing this morning?
Morning, Gordon. Thanks for tuning in and joining us. And Gordon is starting to, he's getting connected now. Gordon is seeing the path we're trying to light up for people. Because
it's nice that he's here. It's nice that he's here.
It's great.
But look, people. It was a setup. It was a setup. The plans for the destruction of the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club were being made. Yep. They were being orchestrated. And
quick point. Before we go any further, if you guys are angry over $135,000 non-repayable study, guys, we've got a lot more millions of dollars just
Oh, it's coming up in a second.
Hold on.
If you want me to, I'll let you know.
Let's let Marie keep reading because we've got a lot more to get sick and disgusted about. Let's go, Marie.
Okay, keep going.
And
This is good.
So what it's saying here is on May 19th, 2012, roughly a month before Plumridge wrote the above email to RCBYC, ECBC had approved a $4 million non-repayable contribution to Benyon Marina Limited. What in the hell is with this non-repayable contributions?
Well,
To construct a full-service marina on the east side of the Brador Lake, consistent with the Cape Breton Marina strategy. What the hell?
let's
Where did
talk.
he go?
So
He went to go grab his buns.
I told people to remember the 2.5 and the $3.6 million that both of these two different companies, the CBCL report place that did the study, and the other company that assessed it and said that its viability was not feasible for 2.5 or for 3.6 million. And they were going to pay that money back, people. Remember this. The Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club was going to pay the money back. But instead of taking their application from RCBC or the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club, Enterprise Cape Breton decided, no, we don't want to give you 3.5 million that you're going to pay us back. We'd sooner have better plans. We're just going to give 4 million away when they don't have to pay it back.
Wait, slow down a sec.
All right.
The biggest thing that people have to remember about that 4 million, beside it being a basically
non-repayable contribution.
It's a contribution. Here's the money. Go ahead. Is that when we think about government funding all the time, right? We don't equate it with ourselves,
Right.
That's our money.
That's
Yes,
right.
it is.
That 4 million is our tax money, people. Do you get it?
The federal government gave that money to these people thinking they were going to make Cape Breton, our lives better. How is us getting a goddamn yacht club in Benyon for rich people with flipping yachts helping the poor people? For flip's sake!
Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, well, we're a family program.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Family program. Bring it down. Bring it down. Bring it down a bit. Okay. So, but on top of that, like,
I'm looking at this.
like you look at it and you go, the people that were in charge of ECBC are supposedly Cape Bretoners.
Yes.
So, and they're giving money to Cape Bretoners. But here's the other question, is who are the Cape Bretoners they're giving the money to?
That's the $millions question.
Well,
That's it. Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Marie. Do your thing.
all right. Well, which makes what Benyon Marina Board. Let me look at this. I'm sorry, guys. I started scrolling here myself.
It's
I'm like,
all right.
what the hell? Okay. So where did we leave here? East side of Brador, consistent with the Cape Breton Marina strategy, which makes what Benyon Marina Board Chair Robert Sampson told the CBC in August 2012 all the more amazing.
Remember that name?
What name?
Yeah.
Where'd you go
Robert
here?
Sampson.
Robert Sampson.
Okay.
So this is what he told the CBC in August 2012. This is what I was scrolling down to because I was like, wait, what is this? Because I must have scrolled past this last time. Most of the money for the project has been raised from the community, said Sampson, but they are expecting government funding announcement in the near future. Somehow this 4 million non-repayable contribution was within ECB's scope, even though the agency had to get around its own moratorium on marina investments, which it did by commissioning a marina study in 2010 and writing some convenient new guidelines that allowed it to fund marinas on the Brador Lakes. So they just wrote in their own little laws, right? Well, this is now acceptable because this is what we would like.
Yeah. We want it, so we'll have it. Give it to us.
But I find it interesting that they can do that so quickly and easily when they want something themselves. Because when we want something passed or done, like it seems like it's an awful lot of red tape for the rest of us.
Wait, I don't know about you guys, but I actually went in the last 10 years myself. I am always full of business ideas, as you know, Marie. And I went there twice myself to have them to ask for a business loan. And both times, no, I had to come up with my own funding. I had to invest, give them thousands of dollars for them to give me a loan. How the hell
Yeah.
does that work? If I'm here looking for money, I certainly don't got money to give you to get fucking money back.
Hey. Oh,
That's just how they work. To help us Cape Bretoners, to give us the federal government gives the money to help us Cape Bretoners.
well,
As a Cape Bretoner, I know they never ever helped me, and I certainly asked.
here's the problem that's been going on with government agencies here in Cape Breton for close to 40 years since the closure of the steel mill and the coal mines, etc. Is that the government funding keeps going to the same people. You get it?
Yeah.
Is everybody listening out there? The government funding keeps going to the same people. And they keep getting rich from government funding.
Yeah.
While we, the people, us,
Mhm.
see no benefit from it.
Exactly.
It's back in the 80s, Reagan had a theory. Ronald Reagan, the president of the U.S., he had a theory. It's called the trickle-down theory. That if
Yes.
the rich do
God
well,
love us.
it'll trickle down to the rest of us. Guess what? That theory doesn't work.
My
That's
mother had one. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer.
That's the way
Yeah.
it works. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You do your thing.
So, what it has here is it also had to break the rule, right? That said it couldn't provide more than 75% of the value of any project. 4 million represented 83% of the marina project. So like they're breaking rules everywhere, making their own rules. So
They're
anyway,
just trying to validate their own spending.
That's right.
yes, yeah. So, and it had to break the rule. It had just written for funding marinas on the Brador Lakes because the Benyon Board of Directors said it was not feasible for them to meet the requirements that they provide 25% of berths for transients, which is tourists. The board explained it could only see its way clear to dedicating 9% of berths for visitors, and ECBC accepted this.
What?
Because it was clearly bound and determined to get its Benyon Marina and Yacht Club, possibly even a Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club in Benyon. In 2010, changes had been made to the Provincial Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club Act, removing restrictions on where the club could own property and limiting the liability of members. At the time, the Post reported RCBYC officials denied that there were plans to relocate the Brador Lakes from Sydney Harbour.
Well,
Wow.
so
But as
basically,
you'll see below, plans were afoot to merge the two clubs and demolish the RCBYC facility in Sydney. So the notion that the club would move to Benyon was hardly far-fetched.
Huh.
So yeah,
there was
this is
I
crazy,
actually have
guys.
information here that they were actually, what they were trying to do was, because these people are caught up in, it's like these people are caught up in appearances, right? So what they wanted to do was actually move the charter with the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club, which is, in order to be like something royal, you have to get a royal charter, right? They wanted to move the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club charter out to Benyon, so that the Benyon Yacht Club would actually become the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club, So now that's a little kind of weird, but the whole thing is you can't move a royal charter. It has to be granted from the Queen. That's why they call it royal.
Right.
Okay, anyhow, that was my little aside. What was in there? Okay.
All right.
So mergers and demolitions. The paper trail goes cold again after that communication between Plumridge and the RCBYC. The conversations were clearly happening behind the scenes because on September 28, 2012, Joan McGuinness, executive assistant to soon-to-be disgraced ECBC CEO John Lynn, forwarded Robert Sampson and Daryl Cormier a
Remember
fact
those
sheet.
names.
Daryl Cormier and Joan McGuinness, right?
Okay.
As well as, of course, John Lynn. So the fact sheet labeled Benyon, Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club, with the message, please find attached from John Lynn. Here's the fact sheet. So got to see this in full screen here.
Oh man.
Like I'm not really wanting to waste my time going all through all of this. I'm sorry to say, but you guys, you got to look it up yourselves to do this because this is going to take up a lot of time.
No, it's all right, Marie. We'll read this fact sheet of the board of directors of Benyon because it's important from the board of directors. This is the people that they're making these decisions. Okay,
you
girly,
do it.
but it's extensive here.
The boards of the two above organizations are asked to consider the following as the basis for the integration of the two organizations. The Cape Breton Yacht Club, RCBYC, and Benyon Marina would be integrated both for the purposes of operations and membership. 2. Primary location of the RCBYC would be Benyon. 3. Current Sydney location of the RCBYC would become a satellite operation for the RCBYC, headquartered out of Benyon Marina. The actual marina of the RCBYC in Sydney would continue to be an asset of the RCBYC, along with one PID, which is a property identification number, which would reside with the boathouse. The integrated RCBYC will assume no legacy debts of the former RCBYC. So they want to take the charter, they want to take the good stuff, but they ain't carrying their debts. You keep those. Next, ECBC will purchase the balance of the property, minus those debts, of course, of the RCBYC in Sydney, exclusive again of the piece of property which houses the boathouse and the marina itself for the price consistent with fair market value, with the proceeds of which will address all debts of the former RCBYC. I find $280,000 on the waterfront in one of our most beautiful places in all of Cape Breton. As far as Sydney goes, at $280,000, absolute joke. Next, the current clubhouse at the RCBYC in Sydney will continue to operate until calendar year and maximize revenue from all planned social events. So they're going to take any revenue they make, but they ain't going to take those debts.
And the money goes out to the Benyon Yacht Club.
Exactly. Right? Commencing new calendar year 2013, the operations of Sydney and Benyon will be fully integrated. All right, Marie.
All right. Yeah, that's the small print, girl. I'm going to have to give you the next one too. Okay. On 23rd October 2012, after consultation with both groups, McGuinness sends an updated version of the fact sheet to Sampson and Cormier. The quality of the copy I received is poor, but I'll attach it here anyway. It begins with a letter from Lynn. See, when I try to put this up on my phone, there's no way.
Okay.
All right. So let me
carry on with that.
Okay, so this one is dated October 23rd, 2012, and it says concept only, and it's the board of directors again, the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club and the Benyon Marina, okay? So the subject is integrated RCBYC with the BEM, which is the Benyon and the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club. So I've been asked to articulate just exactly what ECBC would be prepared to consider in respect to moving this concept forward. Attached, you will find an outline of steps and notions that we believe are supportive in enabling this initiative. As you know, we have had discussions with both groups and have received feedback and proposals. We have reviewed some, and the attached represents the position of ECBC. That said, we want to be clear, we are okay with either the RCBYC or BEM saying no to this initiative, notwithstanding our strong belief it is the right thing to do when one considers all the related facts and circumstances. Our proposal is presented in its entirety and should be accepted or rejected in its entirety. This is a good faith, proactive proposal to resolve operating issues which will not go away while proposing a creative solution to the organization of recreational marine infrastructure between the two operations. My suggestion is that the respective boards review this concept and advise us accordingly. What did I just read? It was English, and yet it seemed like it accomplished nothing. What fluffing stuff did I just blow out of my hole here? What is it?
Well, no, like what you're looking at is basically a very important document because it's a kind of, they're kind of saying that, okay, these are the reasons why this is what's going to happen. RCBYC is going to merge, Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club is going to merge with the Benyon Marina.
But why does it say we don't really care if they eject it or reject it or accept it? Like, it seems so nonchalant.
Well, that in short, that was John Lynn, who was who. Excuse me, I might get in trouble, but by all accounts, John Lynn was a jerk. Okay, so he didn't care. You got to remember that John Lynn came from the Sobeys chain up in Yard. Where's Sobeys based out of? Is it Truro? But anyway,
I believe it is.
Oh yeah,
it's based out of Truro, and basically John Lynn had been a failed administrator there.
Oh,
So, but wait now, he had connections to Sobeys, who had connections to Peter MacKay at the time. And you got to remember there was a conservative government in charge.
Yes.
So John Lynn was put in charge of ECBC via his connections to the Conservative Party and
Good
Peter
Lord.
MacKay. There you go. Did I
It,
say-
it grosses me out. I hate facts like this, but
I'm going to read this other ugly one, this hard to make out one, and then I'll carry on, Marie. So this one is another Board of Directors, Benyon Marita, Board of Directors, Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club. The boards of the two above organizations are being asked to consider the following as the basis of the integration. Would be integrated as of January 2013 for the purposes of operations and members. Did I already read this one, or is this a repeat? No, this is not a repeat. Okay, just sounds like it. The charter for the RCBYC would continue to reside in Sydney as long as the Sydney location continues to operate. The BEM location of the RCBYC would become the headquarters for the operation of the RCBYC, with accounting and administration functions at BEM. The actual marina of the RCBYC in Sydney would continue to be an asset of the RCBYC, along with the PID property will reside at the boathouse. It just seems like the exact same repeat.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
really.
so here it is. I'm going to tell you why. There are a number of differences between these two versions.
Okay, go.
There are two versions you're reading. It is the same thing, but it's two versions.
Oh, okay.
The second version, for example, specifies the charter for the RCBYC will continue to reside in Sydney.
There you go.
But the most important difference for my purposes is that the second version introduces the word demolition,
Oh.
making clear the fate of the clubhouse.
Oh.
Interestingly, we're not allowed to know how much ECBC had budgeted for the demolition. The amount was redacted from this October 2012 email.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they need to redact such a figure.
Imagine.
But there's the setup again. There's the setup.
That's something.
So there's the setup. They were going to demolish it all along.
Yeah.
Right? But people caused such a stink over the proposed demolition.
Use the people.
Yeah.
But because
You're mentioned in this actually, Rod. Yeah, later on.
sorry, keep going. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And while Lynn claimed the offer was in good faith and that either group was free to refuse the merger, he had the RCBYC over a barrel. He wouldn't fund their renovations and basically told them they could struggle on alone with their debts to sell to ECBC and merge with the shiny new marina in Benyon. And those debts were clearly the main concern of the RCBYC, as you can see from this November 8th, 2012 email from Cormier to Shaw, in which he uses the word debts 3 times in 5 sentences.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is, hi Gerard, the meeting went well last night. The members' main concern is confirmation that all the debts will be paid in full. They are asking several questions regarding the integration of the two clubs and how that will work. The members requested that they have 10 days before they vote so the questions they have regarding the merger and debts can be answered. Any information you may have regarding the integration would be helpful, as well as something in writing that all debts would be paid in full. Thank you, Daryl Cormier.
They wanted their bar tabs covered. Is that it?
That's that.
The members wanted their bar tabs covered. That's what I'm getting out of that.
There's some good members there. Like you got to understand that, no one wants to have debts hanging over their heads, right? And if you're on part of a board of directors, board, any kind of board, you have to assume some of the liabilities, right? So they were in a tough situation. They had accrued some debts, so and they wanted to get out of it. Anyway, I'm just playing devil's advocate, man. So.
Well, the debts were also a concern to Plumridge, it says, who, after reading that email from Cormier, wrote this to his ECBC officials. I would emphasize that it would be all debts as of, say, October 31st or November 9th, but not as of December 32nd, as they could go on a spending spree. I have no faith in them knowing how much they owe. That's from Tom Plumridge.
That's kind of condescending, isn't it?
It is.
That's bizarre. And why December 32nd?
Look at the names in the 2. It went to Cashin at Akoa, Marlene Usher at Akoa, Gerard Shaw at Akoa. Now let's write these names down. Now Marlene Usher really comes to mind on me for this because her name's going to come up a lot more and other things that have to do with our waterfront development. And she is in with Akoa in this one. But Rod, was she also with ECBC?
Yeah, she was vice president at ECBC at the time.
All right, exactly. Okay, so we've got some names that are coming on repeat. Go ahead, Marie.
Okay, personally, I have no faith in people who think there are 32 days in December, but pass on, as the French would say. And let's have a moment of silence to contemplate the image of an enterprise Cape Breton corporation executive, one poised to dump $5 million into a pointless marina and a road to nowhere in Benyon, worrying about somebody else wasting money. Honestly, if it weren't for moments of pure hilarity like this, I wouldn't be able to get through these document dumps. Speaking of which, here's another chuckle. Shaw emails Cormier to say ECBC is prepared to offer $280,000 for the purchase of the RCBYC's properties and asks for a decision after an upcoming meeting of the members. Plumridge then writes to Shaw. Did JKL soften on the no proceeds to CRA?
What's that? Rod,
Canada Revenue Agency.
Right, yes, but did JKL?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did JKL soften on the no?
John something Lynn?
Well, she spells it out.
Oh,
let me spell that out. Did John K. Lynn soften on the no proceeds to Canada Revenue Agency? Because heaven forbid the Canadian government, which employs him, should get anything out of this. I would really like to be able to tell you whether JKL softened on this, but the answer is not to be found in these documents. Here's Jim, she says. I get a kick out of Mary's writing. She is good. No property transaction on the Sydney waterfront can be completed without the only lawyer in Sydney, Jim Gogan, who was, of course, consulting on ECBC's purchase of the RCBYC lands. Bright and early on the morning of 29th of November 2012, Gogan first emailed Shaw, subject line ECBC RCBYC. Hi, Gerard. John asked that I touch base with you, redacted on the grounds of solicitor-client privilege. I understand that he wants this closed quickly. Then Plumridge, same subject line. Hi, Tom. John asked that I call you to discuss the RCBYC matter, redacted, privacy and solicitor privilege. Plumridge replied that he and Usher Shaw were meeting with redacted from the RCBYC the following Tuesday at the ECBC office, and Gogan was welcome to join. They met a few times, and Gogan was indeed able to make sure things moved quickly. By the 17th of December 2012, Shaw was requisitioning the money to send Gogan, who would hold it in trust until the sale went through. And then they show you. There's the check.
It's a done deal.
So look at this law group, Breton Law Group. Okay, so the Breton Law Group is the one who hired who this James Gogan works for. All right, and they're going to keep coming up.
Jim Gogan, like I don't know the man personally. He might be a great guy, but his name comes up in the port development from start to finish.
Yep.
And for our listeners out there, are we getting a lot of people on here? How's it looking?
We have had a steady following of 10 to 20 people since our show started.
Okay. So basically, people, I want you to remember Jim Gogan, because throughout this whole sordid tale of port development, there's some key players, and Jim Gogan is one of them. All right, let's do some more. Are you guys, girls,
You'll note that no appraisal was conducted. You'll also note that ECBC, which had committed to paying fair market value for the properties, used the sale price of Robin Hood property to help determine that value. The same sale price CBRM regional solicitor Dimitri.
Stop, please.
We need a button for you, Marie.
This is an important reference for everybody out there. Robin Hood Properties was another property down on the waterfront that mysteriously caught fire.
Wait, repeat that. Try again, Rod.
Robin Hood they based the value of the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club on another property, Robin Hood, which was a warehouse down on the waterfront that mysteriously caught fire and had to be demolished.
Was that beside the fire station?
No, it was down where you know where the marina is now? Down
Yeah.
there, Joan
Uh-huh.
Harris Cruise Pavilion.
Yeah.
It was on that little piece of land now. That,
Oh.
remember?
Yes.
People don't remember this, but the Robin Hood warehouse had mysteriously caught fire too,
Huh.
and had to be demolished. Okay, keep going. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the same sale price CBRM regional solicitor Dmitry Kachafanis now claims should not be used in determining the value of the land the CBRM expropriated from Jerry Nickerson on the second birth. Land valuations are fun, says Mary.
Yeah.
And while I realize there is a difference between the market value and appraised value of properties, I think it's worth noting the appraised values of the clubhouse and the properties ECBC purchased for $280,000.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Looks like it's from the land in the office where you go for Access Nova Scotia for your PIDs and to look up properties and all that.
Land registry, or what is that called?
I can't remember what the office is called, but I know where you go and how to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take a look.
So the whole of it is $413,400. That was the total assessed commercial.
But they
plus
got it for
residential.
$280,000.
Yeah. What a cheap price.
That's quite a difference, isn't it?
Quite a steal.
Yeah.
And that's a bullshit price too. Because you got to understand is that when you look at a property like the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club, none of these supposed learned individuals thought for a second the economic value of a historic building like that on the waterfront could be. Like we have for people that are so into the cruise ship industry.
Yeah.
How if we actually had that historic property on the waterfront that people could visit and see? Maybe we could.
That could have been something.
We could put a maritime museum in there. Maybe we could have actually, become a satellite. It could have been a satellite museum for the Maritime Museum in the Halifax. But oh no, we're all knowledgeable. We know everything, and the people of Cape Breton, well, we'll just dictate to them what's going to happen.
The peasants, literally.
On this island for over 40 years. We'll just dictate to you what's going to happen on your island because you don't know what's good for you.
Right.
Yet you don't know even what's good for you. Yep. You poor peasants. You're stupid and you're poor is the way we're being treated at this point.
You poor plebeians. You poor serfs. You poor.
We'll take care of you.
It makes me so mad. It makes me so mad.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
So I was going to carry on just to tell you there was a residential unit in there. That's why it did say residential as well. Oh. It was an apartment in the yacht club where
that was lived. The caretaker's apartment. Okay, go ahead.
So this property is included in the same assessment as the previous property. You'll note that while they have different PIDs, they share the same AAN. I'm not sure what that means, guys.
I'm not sure what AAN is either, but it's some sort of a value for taxes, I'm sure.
Okay. The remaining documents I've received consist of a complete phase 1 environmental site assessment, ESA, for the 6 contiguous properties done by CBCL for ECBC for $3,700.
Wait.
Emails from Gogan to ECBC.
So if they're able to do a study, CBCL did for ECBC for $3,700. Why the God did why did they need to pay $135,000 for another study out Benyon? Why was one study $3,700 and the other study $135,000? That's another numbers to keep in track. Okay, sorry, keep going.
Yeah,
I didn't really even notice that, Janet.
Did you notice that, Rod?
That's
the numbers just keep adding up, don't they?
Well, that's an incredible difference. I mean, this was only $3,700. What was that other person doing?
If an environmental site assessment can be done for $3,700, what in the God's name is the difference between an ESA and a study between $3,700 and $135,000? That's a huge difference. And I'm pretty sure that the information contained would be well similar.
Hey, it's government math. They make it up as they go.
Okay. Sorry.
So emails from Gogan to ECBC and others about the sale and lease contracts and a squabble between the Benyon Marina and the RCBYC over who would in future be responsible for what. Memorable for a line from Robert Sampson to the effect that he believed the only assistance Benyon was expected to provide to the RCBYC was in helping salvage the Royal Charter.
Huh!
Remember what I said?
You did.
Royal Charter.
Yes.
The only value on the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club was the Royal Charter portion of it, apparently, and the land underneath.
Wow.
The
Okay.
most important thing that is to some individuals was the Royal Charter,
Apparently.
but they couldn't get it.
So it says go public. By this point, the ECBC investment in Benyon had been made public. It was announced on October 27, 2012, and public response was not exactly enthusiastic. So when it was further announced on 15th of January 2013 that ECBC was also going to buy and demolish the RCBYC, people were to use a nautical term, pissed. And the way ECBC handled it didn't help either. The agency issued a 2-page press release, then refused interviews. Spokesperson D.A. Landry told the Cape Breton Post, "We are of the opinion that the corporation's position is well outlined in the statement, and there is nothing more to add to this time."
You don't question anything. Don't question us. Don't question us. We know what's best for you.
Yeah.
For you and you and you. Don't question us. We know what's best.
You will eat the soup. You will eat it.
Lynn literally disappeared after this. He took a 6-week sick leave. So it was up to Marlene Usher to meet the press, which she finally did on January 29th, 2013, saying, as the CBC reported, "We thought it's probably time we came out and addressed both of those issues."
Oh, yeah.
Red, "We thought we should probably say something publicly about our secret decision to put $4 million of your money into a marina in Benyon and to tear down that historic building on your waterfront. You think?" Usher assured everyone that this was not about providing services to the elite people, but about providing a resort for the general public and for tourists.
Wait, stop! We have had this been going on for how long? Rod, have you been there as a general public and tourist out that area?
No, absolutely not. Like,
they don't let you in.
And wait, more importantly, if you go back in this article, they said that there was only going to be a spot for 10% or 8% yachts of visitors.
Yeah.
So
I think it was 9%, but anyway.
9%.
9%. So they didn't even have out at the Benyon Yacht Club. There's not even real berths for visitors to come.
No, it's for those few little fellas.
It was for
their little yachts. They don't mingle with us, like you said earlier, Rod. It's just that.
The elite took the poor people's money, okay, because the elite didn't want to spend any of their own cash because it doesn't. If you're spending your money when you're rich, it doesn't make interest in the bank. The bank don't pay interest if you're paying your money
for the people that are just joining in. You should know that, like, that the Benyon Yacht Club actually received $4 million. Was it, girls?
Yes,
$4,135,000 in non-repayable government money that was supposed to be used for economic development for us.
Yes.
So
for the whole island, not just for the rich area.
Yeah. Okay. Do your thing.
Let me just carry on here.
Yeah.
She said the development at Benyon, the marina, along with the ski hill and golf course and a hilltop hotel and housing development, had the potential to generate tens of millions of dollars in new investment and hundreds of jobs.
Stop.
Stop.
What jobs? This is 2013. Where's these jobs? Hundreds of millions, tens of millions in jobs?
No, it was tens of millions in what?
Tens of millions in revenue from jobs.
Yeah, in new investment and hundreds of jobs.
What jobs?
Hundreds. Marlene said hundreds.
Yeah, they always throw out this the idea that these are going to create jobs, but they're never. Just like over at CME when Cecil got into selling that park over there. You guys remember that when he sold the park? That
I wasn't here for that.
North Sydney, yeah.
Yeah, that it's going to create hundreds of jobs.
What jobs?
Yeah, and that's what everybody should realize is that they use economic development as and
So
job.
piggy bank.
It's like if you remember the old story of a person putting a carrot out in front of the donkey so that the donkey would follow the carrot and go where it wants to go. That's what they do use the promise of jobs for. It's the carrot that the donkeys will follow. And guess who the donkeys are?
We are.
It's pretty bad though, because as soon as we hear it, we shut up, right? We think, oh, jobs. But think about it. What jobs?
What jobs?
Exactly.
Okay.
And are they sustainable jobs? Are they jobs that can actually feed a family? Or is it one of the 3 jobs you're going to have to get on the island to feed your family?
Yeah, exactly.
No jobs.
Okay.
How are you going to get out to Benyon to work? There's no bus. I'm just saying, as a person,
there was no jobs to go to. So let's carry on. It was bullshit.
No. She has a good point. Marie has a good point there.
There's no way to get there.
Yeah. So
for these hundreds of jobs, because I know I'm not the only one who takes public transportation.
Yeah. But those jobs were meant for their rich buddies and their rich buddies' kids who already had vehicles. They weren't making those jobs for any low-born bus traveling. Are you kidding? Us low lifes? We stay in the town. They moved the yacht club away from us low lifes, Marie. Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's why, right? It's away from everything.
There you go.
So it says, and tearing down the RCBYC, why that was going to facilitate harborfront development, right?
Oh, here we go.
And yet, strangely enough, some people still felt tearing down the RCBYC was a bad idea. CBRM resident Rod Gale started a Save the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club Facebook page that attracted 1,600 supporters in 5 days. Good on you, Rod. He showed more concern for the city's heritage in 2 sentences than I saw in all the ECBC correspondence related to the sale, telling the CBC it could be used as a centerpiece for tourism development here in the Sydneys. It's a beautiful piece of historic architecture, and I believe that could be used. Just to demolish it without thinking of the options for this building is ludicrous. And Absolutely. Boy, were you right.
You were.
You were right, Rod.
Well, it's what you see around here, like I don't want, whatever. But I don't want to give myself credit, but what you see around here is that the smart people that think they're very smart aren't that smart.
No, I know.
And what I get, because I live a lot of different lives, right, is that I'd rather, like, you could get an idea from a guy sitting panhandling on a street that could change everything.
Yeah.
Talk to everyone. Learn from everyone. Because
You're right. I agree.
Information and knowledge. I went to university, whatever. But I often say this, I learned more from guys on a construction site than I ever did from a professor in university. And that's great. And what we have is I hate using the word elite because we have to keep in mind where we are. But we have a segment of society here on Cape Breton that are big fish in little ponds.
Yeah.
That haven't seen life. And they think that they're everything. And guess what? In terms of the world and the people on the world, they're nothing.
No.
They're the same as us. All right.
Well, we know them that, but they don't believe that. And that's the problem.
Well, that's because they've been giving a dominant role in Cape Breton and our decisions in economic for too long, and they've been allowed to do so and to think this way. So when we're allowing our money, giving them that behind the scenes, effect that they're essentially running the show without running the show, but they know they're running the show. Well, why would they think anything else?
Yeah, and that's why this show is important, and I hope people keep tuning in. Is that we're actually challenging these people. We're actually, by using Mary's writing here today, which she does really well, is
Much
we're showing them the
her
facts.
and her research.
Yeah, we're showing them the facts. Okay, sorry.
So
we
got here. Sydney Victoria MP Mark I. King said ECBC. Oops. All right. ECBC needed to be more transparent about its plans. 2 Sydney heritage groups, the Old Sydney Society and the Sydney Architectural Conservation Society, stepped up, offering to help ECBC find other uses for the building.
I bet you that talk went nowhere quick. They weren't into
it. Pretty much. In March 2013, Christopher
Here comes
Borgel,
the-
president and senior principal of GBCA Architects and one of
Yep.
Canada's leading heritage consultants,
Great
submitted
guy.
a report on the RCBYC to the Sydney Architectural Conservation Society and the Heritage Canada Foundation.
Here comes the boom.
Borgel said of the CBCL report, which had become the basis of the decision to demolish the
Here
RCBYC,
comes.
costs represented in the engineering report were listed as 2.5 million, which appears to have been based on new building construction rates applied to the size of the current structure and escalated because it is a heritage project. While this amount could certainly be spent over a long term if a brand new quality is desired, in our view, the approach should be one of progressive expenditure rather than all at once.
There you go.
Borgel, who put the necessary immediate outlay at 210,000 to 345,000, noted, "This building is of exceptional importance as a heritage site. Every effort should be made by all parties to ensure its survival and to ensure it has a viable use that will keep it visible and present to the public."
Bam.
It kills me.
Bam.
I love
There's the
our heritage
alternative.
buildings. I'm just a big advocate of that always anyway, but this
There's the
hurts me.
alternative. Right there.
So also in March 2013, the CBC reported that Federal Auditor General Michael Ferguson would look into ECBC's marina decisions, the
Yeah.
Benyon investment, and the purchase and proposed demolition of the RCBYC after
The heat was on.
ACOA critic Ryan Cleary questioned the
From Newfoundland. God bless.
rationale behind both decisions,
Yeah.
saying there was little public consultation and there appears to be little economic return.
Exactly.
Bam.
But Vincent Frigon of the Office of Auditor General told me that report never happened. The CBC article refers to a special examination report that was never produced because the corporation was merged with Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency on March 19th, 2014. Special examination reports are to be submitted to the corporation's board of directors. In this case, however, the board had been dismissed. And of course, by that time, the RCBYC had burned to the
Went to
ground.
the ground.
Now, is that coincidental? I not.
No.
Not
And-
Not a
and-
coincidence.
And this is why I got so bothered by them pinning it on some poor fella
Yeah.
who's wandering around on his bicycle. And,
Yeah.
you know, like the rich coming after this poor little guy and saying, he's somebody who has no one fighting for him. We can pin it on him.
Yeah.
That makes me angry as hell to think that they did that in
No,
order to
that's-
cover this mess.
That's the way it goes, Marie.
Dead
Yeah,
ends, it
The way it
says.
goes,
There-
everybody.
I know, right?
Yeah. So
So
they didn't like Rod's group. They didn't like this other fella coming in that's part of
No.
a bigger organization of architecture and for sustaining, precious heritage sites like we had here. And somebody smelt some stink in ECBC. And then all of a sudden, ECBC John Lynn goes away, he's the fall guy. They had to have one inside of ECBC.
Oh, no. Wait now. John Lynn isn't a fall guy here. He's a villain.
he's
Yeah.
been the villain.
He is a villain, but out of all the villains that were part of ECBC, they only chose one to headhunt. And they removed him and removed the rest of the villains to another department that they called away.
Yeah. Those villains moved on to another piece of the pie.
To
Right.
bigger and better. To
So
bigger and better
ECBC
pies.
No. It's
Was
they
ECBC
want to
the
sustain
fraud?
their lifestyle. You see,
Yeah.
If you look at these people that keep moving on from one place to another, like Cecil Clark, Gerard Shaw, like Marlene Usher, etc., they're trying to sustain their lifestyle.
Yes.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with the money they're given to sustain and develop programs and things for us in Cape Breton, which is why they have those jobs, is to help us, the citizens. And yet the citizens are here for how many years now? 40 years now with these same people behind these programs that keep changing names. And here we are, worse than we've ever been in our,
Yeah.
our lifetimes, with the most poverty of children, the most hospitals in Canada. How are these people helping us? They're helping themselves.
They're helping themselves to the pie. And
Yeah.
you know what? I call it it's actually instituted, institutional corruption is
It
what
is.
I call it. And why it is because
It's like heredity. It just grows from, instead of generation to generation, it's going from one corporation to the next, and they just keep changing roles.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is that simple.
What
If
they
you-
are doing never changes, but where they're doing it at is the only difference.
Yeah, but they're running out of places to go. If you look
Yeah.
at
They
it,
don't need to go anywhere else now. They're in CBRM's municipality and administration and chief executive office. Where else do they need to go? Halifax?
well, the thing is that they're playing out the string. If you look
Mhm.
at it,
There's
what
no
they're
retired. I'm sure with being in
That's
this
it.
long, they
Yeah.
are bringing themselves right to their pension.
they're playing out the string.
Yeah.
Like like you start at Devco. That's why I say like all this crap started back in 40 years ago, because at the same time 40 years ago, what started to go down?
Steel
Yeah.
plant.
The coal, the steel.
The
Yeah.
coal and steel. And what were the organizations created when the steel plant and the coal mines closed?
Devco and then ECBC.
No, Devco and Cisco.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Cisco, right.
Cisco, right? Two crown corporations. Two crown corporations. So you had two crown corporations that paid a lot of money, paid big salaries, etc. So these crown corporations close. Where do the people go? They go to ECBC ACOA, which replaced Devco and Cisco. So they go to ECBC, which replaced Cisco and Devco. Are people following?
Yes.
So
Yep.
So ECB hits the skids because of incompetence, like the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club, etc., and that whole controversy. So where do they go after that? Where's the only viable place for these bureaucrats to go? They go to the municipality,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
that's how.
And then
That's people in a nutshell. That's how the line of incompetence in Cape Breton goes.
yeah.
It
Now,
is-
All right.
now,
We
that's
are
the thing. Not everybody wants to believe it or follow that logic ever, because they just can't put their mind around it. I know they can't, because the people I talk to really are like,
the only
no.
ones who are going like this are the ones who are involved in getting a kickback, a payout, or have a paycheck relying on these people being in those positions. Those are the people who will call us down, fight tooth and nail, and say what a bunch of dummies we are, based on facts that are wrote by
Yeah, here's the facts.
the news facts,
Marie is actually, here are the facts.
right?
You know, Mary Campbell has laid it out for you in the Cape Breton Spectator. Here are the damn facts. This is
She
how
did her
you
research,
are
this
being
lady,
ripped
and
off.
we're doing ours. That's the
Yeah.
thing, right? We need to, and I did look at CBC and stuff, but I still prefer to read hers because she actually did a lot of research.
But she
Yeah.
incorporates those other articles in with hers. She doesn't leave
She
any.
does.
She's thorough. She includes all the different avenues: the Globe and Mail, the Cape Breton Post, and any other place that has to report on it. All right, Marie, keep going.
Okay,
I
so
got
the
to
dead
take.
ends.
I'll be right back.
There's something deeply unsatisfying about this story. The police investigation into the cause of the fire petered out. The Auditor General's examination of the ECBC's marina dealings petered out. ECBC itself petered out as well. Well, no, it kind of exploded thanks to Lynn, who got himself fired, not for his marina investments, but for his patronage hires, and took the agency down with him. But there are to be some lessons here, especially since so many of the same people involved with all these questionable decisions are still out there, influencing what happens on the Sydney and North Sydney waterfronts, making private decisions about public assets and pocketing public money for their efforts.
There you go.
But I'm not going to try and draw lessons yet. First, I'm going to get my hands on the police and fire reports about the yacht club fire and see if there are any more facts to be learned. So stay tuned. And while you're waiting, have a look at the ATIP documents yourself. So this was her article way back.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, not way back. This article was only written in 2019. That's not too far back. It was written June 12th, 2019. Now, guys, we're going to leave you with this. Where is the marina in Benyon? Well, Benyon's not that big. It's right there at Benyon. You can't miss it. If you're on the road on number 4 highway, there's signs there for Benyon. And Benyon, what, is like 5 kilometers on the highway front? Yeah. So it's right across, not too far from where the Benyon trailer park is, Marie. Is up the road about a couple hundred feet from there. But guys, we have a follow-up on this. Mary wrote another article on this last week as an update of what happened, and she went back digging again. And so basically, we're going to leave this this segment right here for this week, and we want you to all tune back in again next week, because we have got a serious story to show you even more. If you are already pissed off now, you're going to get angrier, guys. All we can do is tell you articles, newspapers, all these things. We did not write them. We found them, and we became alarmed about them, and we need to make sure that you see what took place and why our CBRM is in a critical condition. Okay, on who's there?
CBRM is going down, but here I just want to plug this just for 1 second. For everybody that wants to learn a little bit about Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club, you should get this book, Portside, An Early History of the Royal Cape Breton Yacht Club. It's done by Neil F. Libby, and it's a beautiful book. Plus, it gives you tons of info. So, and it's available locally. So it's done by a local author, and that's what we're talking about. See that?
Yeah.
They burned this.
I can't believe that's gone. Like that and the castle. Those things that I when I came back home, it was devastating. It really was to see the things gone that are gone.
Yeah, they mentioned the castle in here too, like
mock them. Yeah. Good.
But listen, there's a nice picture too. Like, check that out. This is full of really great. It's great. It's a great book.
Yes.
So
go out there and get that book. Actually,
is that it?
Yeah. So guys, get that book, check it out. We really want you to just keep following us along to see where this story goes, and we're going to help you understand what has happened to CBRM and why the people are suffering the way they are. So we thank you so much for your comments, for tuning in. If you like this video, guys, please like and share this video so that more Cape Bretoners can see what's going on our island, and who is pulling our puppet strings, and what they have done to us, and how they are stopping us from growing as a CBRM. And anyways, we appreciate all your comments, all your views. Please share, guys. Talk to you next week. Anybody got anything else to say, guys?
No. Have a great week. We'll see you
9 o'clock Sunday morning.
See you soon.
9 Sunday morning, guys. Happy time change. Take care. Cape Breton Original out.